Hey, hello again, everybody. Mike Passamonte here with Pastor Mike. My two co-hosts, two co-hosts are back. JP is back again. I needed help after the ass kicking that I got this week. My team from Carl's team, so I needed a buffer. So JP is back in business. JP, how you doing?
I'm doing really good. I mean, it's been a weird week with the NFL. Like, it's been one of those weeks where I think more has happened with teams in the last week where everyone's like panicking more than in week 4 than I ever heard in my life.
No, I don't think so. I think that happens every year. But anyway, Carl, how you doing?
I'm all right. I got a day off today, and I'm sitting home. I had to relax from the nice win that the Broncos had, over the weekend. So I did that, and I'm ready to talk some football. All around. We got a lot of stuff that's going on with NFL, and I think we could talk about that.
Are your coaches still crying from last week about getting hit too hard? Are they still crying, or did they stop?
No, they stopped. What can you do with a guy that it shouldn't be in the NFL? But that's New York style, so we understand that. Loser will be a loser.
If I may mediate this,
Good enough. Hold on. Let's not get into it yet. You're listening to Pastor Mike. This is the weekly talk show. We are on every Wednesday night, 7 o'clock, to talk NFL football. We're on 7 to 8. We have a special segment at the end of the show tonight, which I'm sure everybody's going to love, with JP. But before that, let's get into the week. We had a lot of surprises this week, like every week. The biggest surprise this week is that I almost won a football pool for picking the correct amount of teams. Carl and I are in a football pool where you pick every game, you pick the spread, and I am so bad. I'm so bad. The week before, I got, I think, 2 right, which is as hard as getting 2 wrong. Like, it's impossible. This week, went down to the last game, listened to my gut, listened to my co-host, and picked the wrong team. So
I did the same thing the week before. I went to the last game.
Picked the wrong team.
I thought of it, and I said it wouldn't be a right way to do if I stuck with it. And I went with the other team, and I lost. I lost it too. But you know what? I mean, you didn't. Well, I'm not sure if you watched the game, but Atlanta had a shot at the end to score. They're on the 28-yard line, and they just couldn't get in there. And I was hoping for it.
Yeah, 7.5 point spread. Yeah, they would have covered. But all right, so we had 2 games last week. I'm trying to remember which 2. Okay, I'll just give you the scenario, and then you can tell me if you remember which games. And I never thought about this before. In all the years that we've had the 2-point conversion come in, I've never thought about this. And I think this only came up this year where they started doing it. The analytics say you should do this. You're down 14 in the fourth quarter. You're down, or in the second half, you're down 14 points. You score a touchdown. What do? You go for 1 or you go for 2?
Go for 1.
Go for 1 to be down by 7, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm not going nuts here. You go for the 7.
2 teams within, I want to say, like 3 minutes of each other, scored the touchdown and both went for 2. One of them made it, one of them didn't. And if you think about it, these new analytics say that's your best chance to win. And I'll tell you why. If you're down by 14 and you score, now you're down by 8. You're still down a touchdown. If you're down by 8 and you don't get the 2-point conversion. If you make it, then you score a touchdown to go ahead. Whereas if you would have scored 2 touchdowns, you're only tying. And then you got to go into overtime. It was so interesting because I never thought about it, but it makes total sense. It makes complete sense. And 2 teams did it. I can't believe I can't remember which 2 teams did it.
Is it Philadelphia?
Might have been. I don't even know if
they went right away. They scored and they went for 2 and got it.
So they got it. Somebody missed it minutes before they got it. Someone missed it. Might have been Jacksonville. Might have been Jacksonville, actually. But yeah, it's strange, and I'll never look at it the same again. But it makes total sense because if you score the 2 touchdowns, you're not ahead. You're not winning.
Right. Well,
But if you miss it, you're still only down by one score. I thought that was pretty interesting.
right, and Jacksonville with the coach, they asked him about that. They did, and they said, "Why would you go for 2 when He goes, "Because we're 8-point underdogs. We're underdogs. We weren't supposed to win this game against San Fran." He goes, and if you look at it, we made it, and we scored a couple other ones, and they got the ball back. They needed the touchdown to win. If I would have went for 1, it would have been a difference. But they needed a touchdown to win, and they couldn't go down the field to get that touchdown. But if you don't make it, it could cost you a game too.
Well, not really, because you're still down a touchdown, right?
Yeah,
you're still only down a touchdown.
Yeah, I forget. You might have been right with Jacksonville. I think Jacksonville did do it.
I think it was Jacksonville.
Mm-hmm.
But all right, so we had the Thursday night game, which was a disaster.
Oh God,
it can't get much worse. I mean, it could get much worse. 0-16 is worse, but you see it coming. I mean, that's what's coming. They do absolutely nothing right, and they do so much wrong. Like how many penalties could they have? And forget about it. You know what? I don't even want to get into the play because the play was ridiculous. The calls are ridiculous. I mean, the play calling. What the hell are they doing with Mekhi Becton? Mekhi Becton has played out of his mind this year. Held Bosa in the first half that Bosa was healthy. He's looked like a veteran so far this year. The tackle that they got. Awesome player. Not this past week, the week before, he hurts his shoulder. He's doubtful or questionable to go in this week against Denver. They suit him up for whatever reason. They suit him up, and they put him in the game. The guy who started the game gets hurt in the first quarter. They put Mekhi Becton in the game. This is your number 1 draft pick.
Your franchise offensive tackle.
He's hurt. Your franchise offensive tackle, your left tackle that you took with the 7th pick, and they put him in, and he got hurt in the second quarter. Like what? Honestly, I just can't take it. I can't take him.
Can I eulogize the Jets for you for a minute here?
Yeah.
Can I please eulogize them? Because here's the thing with the Jets. They look, I'm going to be honest. They hit him, Mekhi Becton. Like, they hit. If you don't get him hurt, I think you hit on probably 3 of your draft picks this year. I think the Jets had a very good draft because the kid, the kid from Cal, the safety.
Ashton.
And the receiver. I've heard all good things from people about all 3 of those guys. I've heard the receiver people are going to be saying that guy.
Hold on. The receiver didn't play yet.
But in practice, how he looked in training camp, from what I heard?
No, you can't say that.
They were saying good things about it.
I don't care. He didn't even get in a preseason game because it was none. He was in practice. You can't hit on Mims until he plays the game. You can't. But
I'll say they have a good chance of possibly getting 3 good players out of that.
But Mims is as good a chance of being a bust.
Yeah.
Because he's so injury prone as he does at being even decent. So I'm not going to put him there. But Mekhi Becton, and the safety, maybe.
Can I just say this though? Am I wrong for saying though that the Jets would be right now? I think the Jamal Adams deal is a blessing for them right now. I think it's looking like a blessing because now you actually you're the Jets. You have extra draft picks now in a year where you can get some good players. Like right now, I think the Jets with a good coach. I think this year you give up on this year. I think if you're the Jets, you're race for Trevor. You go 0-16. Yeah. I think if you're the Jets at this point, just tank because you might as well.
You don't have to worry.
Arnold's not playing Sunday.
They're automatically tanking.
Yeah.
Arnold's not playing Sunday.
That's the team.
What?
Darnold's out Sunday.
I know. Joe Flacco's playing.
And I'm like, why would you play Flacco? I mean, if Darnold was healthy, I would be playing him. Just no matter what. I mean, the fact that if he may not be healthy and they're scratching him says that because my gut's telling me he's healthy.
I'm trying to figure out what you're saying. Darnold is hurt.
Yeah,
so
but I thought he was healthy.
No, he's hurt. He landed on his shoulder and they put him back in the game.
Yeah, because I thought he was healthy because he played.
That's another one. No. He came back and then he was no. The way they're handling everything is terrible. One thing I'll say is that this idea of tanking. It's impossible to do. And here's why. The Dolphins tried it last year. Jacksonville tried it this year. You could do whatever you want with the team. the coach is not going to coach the tank because he knows he's getting fired. Any coach that loses that much for the season is 99% of the time going to get fired. Miami didn't because they started winning. Jacksonville, we'll see what happens with Marone. But Adam Gase is not here next year. So he's not going to sit players he thinks to win games for him. He's coaching for his next job. So I don't believe there's any tanking. The front office could tank. But, Carl, there's no way a coach is going to tank so the next guy could get great players.
No, he's not tanking. If he was tanking, he might would have tanked even better last year. He can't coach the game. Jets players around didn't like him. The worst thing was to get rid of Adams. They should have got rid of Gase and brought in a coach that Adams would have agreed with and signed a contract because Adams is a franchise defensive player, and we know that. It's no such thing as tanking. They can't win. It's over. The Jets are over, and they're fighting for a first-round pick, first overall, with the Giants.
That's what they got going for them now. It's not over because now they got that going for them. But they'll screw it up. They'll end up with a third pick in the draft.
Yeah, they'll end up. They're going to end up in the top 5 for definitely. But right now,
top 5.
I would say they're the worst team in the NFL.
Yeah, right they're ranked worst. Yeah, you get all the rankings.
I don't want to say that. I was going to say it to annoy him. I wasn't going to say that because I thought it would annoy Mike, but I'm going to agree with Carl here. I think they are the worst. Like, the fact that they lost to a third string, what would we call this? A guy basically right off the street guy in Ripon.
2 weeks in a row. Well, no, 2 out of the last 3 weeks they did that. They lost to the backup for San Francisco also.
They got crushed.
Yeah. They just – listen, this is the worst Jets team I've ever seen. It's tough to watch. Carl, you saw it. It's like every player on your team was getting hurt, and they was still the Jets came back with all field goals.
The Broncos gave it to
terrible team too.
Broncos gave it to them. They were throwing it pick 6. Broncos gave it to them, and they still couldn't do it.
Denver's a terrible team, but did you see that Judy catch?
I'm going to say this. I think Denver's bad, but I'm not going to call them as bad as they looked because I think if they had Drew Lock, I think they have another win or two on the calendar. I think they have 2 wins.
But they're a bad team. They're not a good team.
Yeah, I think they're
not a good team.
I think the narrative's different if Drew Lock's playing. I think they beat Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
No.
I think they beat Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh's playing well. I don't see how
they were in the game with them. I think Drew Lock's playing.
Let's get back to the Jets, Mike. I have a question for you as a Jet fan. Would you trade your team, whatever you could get for them, and trade them off to get some more draft picks? It'd be a total rebuild, knowing you're going to get a whole new coaching staff next year. Would you just say, you know what, whoever wants whatever, let's come and get them. You got them all. Let's go. Except your offensive line and your defensive line.
But this isn't baseball. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work. The past couple of years, if you trade away, who are you going to trade? Who would be able to trade on this team? Crowder, maybe?
Darnold.
No, you're not trading Darnold. You're not trading Darnold because if you don't end up, Crowder's the only one.
If you end up with the number 1 pick, do you? I'm asking. You get number 1.
No.
Is Darnold on the market?
You guys are saying 2 different things. You guys aren't listening to each other. Yeah. Carl is saying during the season.
Oh, during the season. I was thinking
during the season trade. Yeah, at the end. Yeah, if you get the number 1 pick, then you could trade Darnold, or you could keep Darnold. He's still on his rookie contract. You can keep him for 1 more year, franchise him, and then trade him, kind of like they did with Bridgewater, where they kept him just to trade him. You could do that. I don't know if he'll be worth if they go 1-15, but someone will pick him up. But yeah, you asked me at the beginning of the season, Carl, who was I going to blame for this? Yeah, and I'm blaming everybody. It's everybody. The trainer I'm blaming, like the bus driver, the guy who flies into the games. I'm blaming everybody for this. I don't want to fire the GM because I don't think he's had enough time to do anything. He's had 1 draft, so he hasn't, and he had one of his best players asked for a trade, the other one opted out in Mosley. So I don't want to completely blame him, but this team is unwatchable. They're not an NFL team. I don't know if I've seen a team this bad ever. Like they get on the field and they're right away. This week was amazing because they weren't getting killed at halftime. But most games they're down like 21-6 at half every week. every single week. It's insane. It's
Bell
insane to me.
comes back. Bell comes back this week, so
Doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean anything.
Flacco is going to go save the season. He did try. He did try last year for the Broncos.
Listen to me.
I'm laughing at Flacco.
That worries
Flacco better be better off working for Affleck. He needs some insurance.
That it does worry me that he's going to win 1 or 2 games and screw up this. And I am never like this. I always say, don't tank. I don't want to tank, but this is it. I can't see anything good with this team. Anything good with this team right now. Give me Trevor Lawrence. Give me what's his name? Justin Fields. Either one of them. I'd rather Lawrence, of course, but I'll take Justin Fields. Either one of them for next year.
You know what's funny? I think this is the week the Jets could win. This is one
All right. We promised that the craziness was going to be at the end.
No. I'm not being crazy. It's just Arizona to me seems just like a team that is definitely a little overhyped, and I think everyone's going to be down on the Jets. This is a week where they could win like a 28-21 game if Arizona gets shut down, which I think could happen.
Arizona lost to the Panthers this week. Who'd they lose to the week before? It was someone else that Detroit. Now, Detroit has shown signs of being okay. Carolina's played pretty well.
They're a good team.
So the Cardinals have not lost to an awful team yet. They're going to see one this week. They're going to see one this week. The Jets can't do anything right. They can't do the.
Yeah. I'm just saying luck.
Special teams. Yeah, no. But let's move on from that. And let's talk about, let's see, which game did I want to hit? Let's talk about this team, who now, I don't know which one of you called this, but the Buffalo Bills are looking, and I thought they were going to fail this year. I said the quarterback sucked. He looks like the MVP now. Yeah, it is so different with good coaching. It really is. And I've said that coach has been good from the first day he stepped on the field.
Was it me?
Every year.
The Bills?
No, I think.
I'm a Bill supporter and Allen supporter.
I think it was. I think it may. Carl might have been.
The Bills beat the Raiders. They just look good. They look amazing. Now the week before they should have lost.
Yeah.
When they played the Rams, that game was over, and then a flag comes in for pass interference. It was not pass interference. It was not.
They have a good team. They have a very good team all around them, and their coach is very, very good. And that's what's going to bring them to the winning division, of course. They're going to take that division, no problem. And the way they play,
I don't know about no problem, but they could take it, yeah.
The way they play, I mean, no matter I really like the Bills and how they're organized with the coach. And what he said today, I support him a lot. And he was live, he was talking on TV about his team, and they asked him about the Tennessee Titans, about the COVID and stuff. And he said, I told my guys they don't go nowhere. They go home.
Yeah,
you don't do anything.
Let's get into that because that's really what we want to talk about this week. You had one game that was postponed already, had a bye week, which was Tennessee versus the Steelers. That was last week. Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the Chiefs and the Patriots had a problem where they had to push the game to Monday. Now, I think they're being, overly cautious, which I get. I understand they don't want complete outbreaks. Like if one guy gets it, they're pushing the game back.
Yeah.
Okay. But what is happening in Tennessee is insane because they didn't follow any of the NFL protocols or rules. If you believe what you hear, it's to the point where the NFL is talking about if teams don't follow the rules and they have outbreaks. Now, Tennessee is the only team that's had an outbreak. I don't think any team's had more than 1 or 2 players. I think the Patriots had 2 now, right?
Yeah,
Cam Newton and Gilmore.
Yep.
Gilmore and Newton. But if you have outbreaks, they're talking about forfeits. Which
Tennessee should. I think Tennessee has to lose another game. If they have to move the Bills game, I think you got to because how do you fix the schedule for the Bills? Like how do you keep fixing these schedules? I mean, you got to consider forfeits.
Eventually, and this is Carl loves this idea. Eventually, they're going to have to talk about putting in a week 18.
Yeah.
If they get enough games that are pushed. Now the problem is, what if one team has more than one game that gets pushed?
Here's how you do it.
It's not going to help.
Here's how you do it. You got to move week 17 to a Thursday. Then you play Tuesday, then you play Sunday.
Or we've seen it in other sports, and I think we even saw it in football. I think in strike shortened season in '82, where teams played less games.
Yeah. Here,
Where some teams played more games than other teams, and they just went by the record.
Like I said to you, and I text you how I support the 18th week, and I think they should just make it official. Remember, we don't have no fans, and they were talking about that today. There's no fans, and they really want to have fans for the Super Bowl. They're pushing for that. What is the best thing to do? No matter what you think about what's going on with this COVID, the best thing is to do is push a couple weeks and make the Super Bowl later, and then have a Super Bowl, because they said there is no losing out of anything. It's still going to be there.
But that's not completely true. A lot of teams have fans, and a lot more are having fans now. What was it, yesterday, the day before? Wolf, the governor of Pennsylvania, said that the sports could have fans now.
Right. That means there's a certain amount.
Yeah, well, who knows how much that's going to increase, and you still have fans. So if you have, 20%, if you have 15, 20,000, that's like half a baseball game. That's a hockey game. I mean,
right, but
there's still fans. There's still fans with tickets.
But the important thing is to get this year in, which they're going to get in no matter what. Is just you got to figure something out. The fan part, yes, certain teams got fans. Green Bay will never have a fan in their stadium. They said today. They won't put no fans in the stadium at all for the rest of the year.
Yeah, I don't think New Jersey will either with the Jets and Giants. I don't think they will.
So you know what?
I think the Bills won't either. I'll count the Bills on that.
The Bills.
COVID.
Cuomo's still shutting shit down. They're not going to have fans.
Of COVID.
Yeah, I was going to say make sure the Bills are counted.
COVID and players' health, whatever people are going to believe in, and getting this football season in, they're going to do what they have to do, and to move a Super Bowl up to past 2 weeks, that will be fine. One, it will take time and ruin the Valentine's weekend, so we can all watch the Super Bowl together. And two, it will have enough time that it will be plenty of 2 weeks. I think they said 2 weeks of putting up, all these games if they are canceled. So
did you just say it's Valentine's weekend and we could all watch the game together?
Well, all your husbands and wives.
We're not going to all be together on Valentine's Day.
You don't have to go on a date. I
don't know what I just heard. We are all not hanging out together on Valentine's Day.
You don't have to worry about
I'm going to have a date, hopefully, so I'll pass. I'll be watching it probably with a date.
$800 reservation.
That's the boldest prediction you've made so far, JP.
I said I'll have a date by then.
I know. That's the boldest prediction you've made so far.
I don't think so.
We're saving all the outrageous predictions for the end.
That's not outrageous. Don't worry.
I'm kidding.
With that said, with the game in jeopardy this week, there's a huge chance right now that the game's going to be canceled. If you're going to forfeit, and a coach from the Bills says we don't want to forfeit, we don't want them to forfeit. We will play a doubleheader.
No, you take the forfeit.
So they're going to move that.
You can't play a doubleheader. They can't play a doubleheader.
That's what he said. Just seriousness. Like he was like,
which coach said that? Who said that?
Bill's coach. Bill's coach wants to play him, no matter what it takes. And he says we want to play him, and my guys do not go out. Our guys come from the practice to home.
Well, he's 4-0. He wants to get going. He doesn't want to break.
Yeah.
He wants to keep going. Yeah, of course.
But if you can take a forfeit, I'm taking it if I'm Buffalo. Heck, I'll scrimmage myself the whole week.
Why?
You don't get to be that good if you have that mentality. You want to play.
I mean, you don't want to play, but if the league tells you you're going to take a forfeit and you're not going to be able to schedule it, then you scrimmage yourself. Inner squad that week.
They don't want to play with themselves. They want to play a game.
Inner squad that week.
They'll take the forfeit if it's given to them, of course, but they're going to say all the right things.
What they said was they would cancel some kind of game. I think it's against the Jets. It's useless, but it's the Jets, and they will play Jets on the bye week because they have the same week, and they will fit Tennessee in the worst case scenario, something like that with bye weeks.
So, do the Jets play them on the No, Tennessee has no more bye weeks. That wouldn't work.
No, for Bills and Jets are on the same bye week.
Right.
So they will play on the bye week, and then they will mess.
Tennessee has another game that week.
Right, but they would switch another week. They said something about Tennessee could switch another week, and this is their last chance. If Tennessee could switch another game because somebody else has a bye week, and Tennessee could play them on a bye week.
I think we're going to see a lot of Monday night games, possibly a Tuesday night game, depending on when in the week they catch it. They can't just schedule a week 18. They can't just schedule Week 18 because what if they don't need it? Then what? You just have no football for a week? They're not going to do that. It's going to have to come down to like where they have like 4 games, 5 games. Then they might do it. But they might just have teams play 15 games. That might happen.
Or you know what you can do? They can do what they do down in Texas. You know how they do it down in Texas for games in high school? They move games. They move games. For example, a team will play a Thursday, then they'll play 4 days later, which would be Tuesday. Then they play Saturday. So if you have to, maybe you move a game to Thursday of 2 teams that have a common opponent. Let's say
that means they'll play Sunday, Thursday, and Sunday again.
Like the opposing team, like the team has to make up 3 games.
Answer my question. Sunday, Thursday, and Sunday.
No, Sunday, Thursday, then they would play a Tuesday game, then they play Sunday.
No, I don't think they'll do that.
You know
if they
what?
have to, Wednesday. If they have
they
to.
don't have they don't have to do anything.
Yeah,
they could cancel the
season
game
tomorrow. You're right.
Yeah, they don't
Just the
have to do
players.
anything. There's no way the players' union is going to let that happen.
Right.
There's no
the players
way.
don't get paid, so they're gonna play.
It's because of injury. There's no way that the players' union is going to allow that to happen. No way.
What they would have done, they should have done.
Reality, they already complained about Thursday night games. They're not
They're
going
going to complain about the paycheck.
No, they won't care. They're going to get the paycheck. They're going to get the paycheck, and they're going to get it. They're going to tell them they had a week.
What they should have done, and I give credit to baseball, I give credit to hockey, I give credit to basketball and all the sports. What they didn't really think about everything about this with the COVID NFL. They should have started a week or 2 early and had 2 bye weeks, and they could have figured out a lot of different things with that, with the 2 bye weeks, and fit stuff in there to get prepared. If they weren't
The problem
prepared,
is, well, they could have pushed the season back. They couldn't have started it early because you got to remember what was going on in August. We didn't know if anyone was going to play. It was still, raging in August in a bunch of states. We didn't know who was going to be able to play. They couldn't have brought it earlier. They could have pushed it, and they still might. They could always add a week 18, like you said.
they did say they're going to do what baseball did. It's really high. It's really big on talks about putting the bubble for the playoffs and the Super Bowl. They did say that they're really talking big on the playoffs. And
They already
I'm talking about Texas. Yeah, they're already talking Dallas area because the high school facilities are good enough to be able to accommodate NFL teams. They have college and high school facilities to accommodate the teams.
Yeah.
Hold on. You think that they're going to move to neutral sites and have bubbles?
That's what they're talking about. They were
That's what
talking
they're
about having in Dallas.
For playoffs, there's 3 states.
They might just bubble their own players where they keep them on the grounds and they don't let them out. They might do that. I don't think they're going to put them in a bubble. I don't think that doesn't work. That just doesn't work. You'd have to have one location that you play. And how do you play all the games in one location?
It works.
That's one field.
It works for baseball.
You can have they have college fields they could use because the same size regulation. If you're having no
If they're
fans,
gonna do it, hold on. If they're going to do it at different fields in Texas, they could do it at the different field where they're going to play.
Right.
Why would they have to go to Texas to play on a
that was being talked about recently, like in the last month. I saw an article on that.
Playoffs, they could just pick 4 states, and that's where they're going to be playing, and that's it. They don't have to worry about one state. They can play 3 stadiums or 4 stadiums, and that's where the game's going to be hosted, just like baseball's doing. Baseball's doing it in L.A., and how Oakland's playing in the morning, that Dodgers are playing at night, and then you got Houston, and
Why are those sports doing it? Why did hockey do it? Why did basketball do it? Why did baseball do it? Because you have multiple games during the week. You don't want to travel to multiple places where football is one location, one place. So everyone goes just like it's preseason, just like it's, in the preseason. They all stay at the facility, and that's your bubble. You stay at the facility. You can go anywhere else, and then you travel to the game, wherever it is. You don't need to do that.
Like baseball.
Because I know you're going to probably want to move off this in a second. I'm just going to say this. I think that the NFL's smart. What they should do, have all the players in a hotel after this. Tell them the last 4 weeks of the year, you put them up in a hotel and tell them, look, you ain't leaving until the season ends.
They don't need hotels. Most of these facilities have dorms for them.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying. Put them up in whatever they have to. For as long as they need.
What I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, bubble them yourself. I think some teams are doing that already. I think that's what
Bills
Bill's
are
coach is
doing it.
doing. Yeah, I think a lot of teams are doing that already. It wouldn't be the worst case if the Jets sent a couple of their guys to a bar. I mean,
to a bar.
Go
Here's the
clubbing
problem
a little.
Here's
What's
what
that?
the problem NFL has is that you got the virus out there, and you got Gilmore that just tested positive, and Gilmore was hugging and all up on Pat Mahomes.
Yeah, probably knew he had it. Give it to him.
Right, and it's 10 to 14 days that it'll have to show up, and then now they're talking about Pat Mahomes is going back.
No, it's not that. It's not that long anymore. It's they say 3 or 4 days it'll show up.
Right, and you go with Pat Mahomes, and he's going back to his wife that's pregnant. They talked about all this whole thing When is that gonna? How are they gonna stop all this? And the big cause and the big problem is Tennessee Titans. The Titans cause a big problem here.
Yeah, there's 2 things here. There's the fact that there's positive tests, which is just a black eye, and they kind of have to get it under control. But then once you start getting into family members and this, nobody's been sick. Nobody's been hospitalized. It's just positive tests.
Right. And
so it's
I agree with you. And I said the same thing. People looked at me like I was stupid because I said, if you're what's going on in this country and what's in this world, if you're going to work and you're scared not to go to work, and these players are not scared, they're making that paycheck, what could happen. So you're going and you're playing. And it is what it is. We all go there. We all go to work. We all do our thing. We go places without masks. We go places with masks. We touch things. Whatever we do, we know the deal and what's going to happen. I just think that they're testing too much. That's my problem. I don't care what anybody says. If you're not sick, don't get a test. Let the NFL players play. If they get sick, then you have to worry about it. But you know what? Cam Newton says, just wear your mask, guys. Let's wear masks. He's talking. He's fine. He said,
yeah. All of them. Everyone who's gotten it, yeah. So I think it's a little bit of an overreaction. But I think that they have to do it. I don't think that they could go without testing. Just because it's a PR thing. And so I get it with this. It's a PR thing. In the real world, I think I agree with you. I think we're testing too much. I think, all you keep hearing about is all these people that got sick. They're not sick.
Right.
Most of these people are not sick. They just tested positive. They don't even know they have it. They wouldn't know they had it, unless you told them they had it. So, yeah. But like I said, I think they do have to test as much as they do. The Tennessee has to be punished in some way. Yeah. I don't know how they're going to punish them. They have to be punished. Any games you think were interesting over the weekend? Chargers Buccaneers was a great game.
Yeah.
That was a great game. Back and forth. That kid is for real. Herbert is for real.
Yo, of course.
Yes, he is. Coming out. And JP, I said this last week. I am shocked at how the rookies are playing this year at every position. The rookies are amazing this year, given that there was no practice for them or preseason or anything. No real offseason for them. Did we lose JP?
I'm here.
All right.
I'm cracking a joke quick because I'm about to crack a joke about the Chargers for a minute. I mean, who knew they'd be so electrified by having Herbert in there? I mean, come on.
I supported the guy from college, man.
Was that the joke? Electrified?
Yeah, that's a joke. They got electrified, man. It's like the Rock out there.
Carl, you missed the punchline, Carl. The Chargers were electrified.
I know. But
it was shocking, I tell you.
Justin should be one of the top quarterbacks out of the draft, which I thought he was 2 years ago before he did the ACL and then he went back. Last year he did great. It's just Burrow did a year that you couldn't even explain. He did great, so he deserved it. Justin's a good player all around.
Where did he go in the draft?
What
pick was he? What pick was he in the draft?
Fifth?
No, that was Tua.
Six. It was right after San Diego.
Okay.
I just think he's going to be a good quarterback, and I think San Diego. Here we go. I think LA Chargers are going to be a good team. I mean, they got their main piece, and they are a good team. Their defense is good. It's just that I think they
played good teams, and they played them tough. But Tampa Bay is one of the best teams in the NFC. They lose by one touchdown and give them everything they got. The week before they play Kansas City, they go into overtime. I mean, yeah, they played tough teams and they played them well.
Yeah, Tyrod Taylor, he just gets the beat end of the stick no matter where he goes.
He always
You know
does.
what's funny
He always does.
about the rookies this year and Herbert? Everyone's crying, give Tua a shot in Miami. It's funny. I was watching the TV today. You know how many people are going on the talk shows, sports talk shows, saying let Tua play?
I watched it.
Like,
Yeah.
and I'm like laughing my butt off. I'm like, come on, guys. I'm like,
Well, do you not think he should play?
I mean, first of all, I'm not in the Miami. I'm not the guy seeing it, so I'm like, who am I to judge? First of all, who knows?
Great point. That's how I feel. Yeah.
I'm like, who knows? Who knows if he's fully healed? That's the thing. Who knows if he's just out there just to be like a decoy, make people think there's a controversy going on, or maybe to push Fitzpatrick. Who knows what's really going on?
No, I don't think any of that's true.
I don't think
any of that's true. I think Fitzpatrick is just right now. He's the best thing for the team. You might see, as soon as Tua comes in, he might take over and be great. But Fitzpatrick is Fitzpatrick. He's gonna be lights out or he's gonna be terrible. Now,
well, here's the thing with Tua. Tua, we don't know about. Yes, college he was good. The hip, whatever happened to the hip. Miami has 3 first-round draft picks and like 2 or 3 second-round draft picks next year. Okay, they're not just gonna sit back. They're gonna help Tua. The future is Tua in their books. Okay, why throw him in right now when you're going against the top 4 defenses in a row starting this week? You're not going to throw him.
Right.
Let Fitz finish it and let him lose.
Thank you.
Games. And then when you play the Jets and you play the little end teams with no, with you can beat, throw Tua in there. But you got the Broncos, you got the Rams, you got the Niners, you got all these defensive teams that are going to kill Tua.
You know when Tua's going to go? They're playing the Jets 2 games in a row. They got the Jets, bye-week Jets. That's when you throw them in.
And they're out of the playoffs.
Well, maybe not. Remember, we have an extra team making the playoffs this year. We have an extra team making the playoffs. They're 1-3 right now. They're going to beat the Jets a couple times.
Look at their schedule. They got Niners, Broncos, Rams, New England. I don't know about that.
I don't believe in the Rams. I don't believe in the Broncos.
I believe in all
the New England's
Broncos.
Good.
Yes, I agree, but I believe in the Rams. I think
the Rams have not looked good. The Rams have not looked good. They struggled again with the Giants. They lost to the Bills. They came back all the way back with the Bills. They lose. They have not looked great. They are 3-1, but they have not looked great. You could beat that team. You could beat that team. I wouldn't say that's a lock.
Not with Miami.
Like I always say, I say this every year. It's still too early to know who's good and who's not. It's still too early. One thing I will say is, and I want to get into the Texans, but one thing I will say is I went crazy not crazy, but I agreed with the Gase hire. And I had everybody screaming that I was wrong. How did they hire Gase? He sucks. They're right. He sucks. But the alternative isn't doing great now either. Mike McCarthy has a million times more talent than Adam Gase has on his team. Not as a coach, on his team. A million times more talent. And the Cowboys absolutely suck. Absolutely suck. Dak Prescott is playing out of his mind just to keep these games close. But the Cowboys are just awful. Awful. The only game they won is because Atlanta does not know how to jump on an onside kick. They should be 0-4.
I agree. They should be 0-4. But I can't put it on McCarthy. The offense is the best offense that we have seen in many years. The offense is doing their job. McCarthy's doing their job.
Hold on. When are they doing their job? Only in the fourth quarter. Why? Are they coming out flat and then having to make up the ground? Yeah.
Well,
that's the coach.
They got to call up the guy that wants to coach again. They got to get rid of that defensive coach and bring in Wade Phillips. And they got to do something because they got to get a defense together. They got to hold teams under 28 points and then they'll win every game. That's how it is right now. They're scoring 50 points and losing, 40 points and losing. They got to hold.
I don't know.
They need defense.
All right.
They need defense.
Hold on. So do you think that if they held the teams down that they would win the games? Or are these teams kind of playing prevent, and Dak is just amazing and picking them apart and catching up? Because you saw last week, as soon as they got close to the Browns, all of a sudden, boom, one play down the field. Odell with a reverse for
they're
55 yards.
They're playing Garrett's football, because Moore was with Garrett, and Garrett plays until the fourth quarter, and whatever happens. Instead of going out and throwing it all around, they play and say, let our defense take it and go win the game. That's what Moore is calling. Moore's not playing. If you notice, they have to make a comeback, but Moore has a lot to do with the screens and everything like that, and they don't want to do anything till the fourth quarter. I say blow it up and let's go. Put up 60.
Zeke Elliott wasn't even playing last week in the second half.
Yeah,
it was
blow
Pollard.
Put it up. Put the 60 points up in the first half, and then you go see what happens. You got to change everything. Got to change it all.
I want to see them play a good team. And then we could talk. But they're just,
Prescott's
the one win they have, they shouldn't have. What?
Prescott's going to get his money.
He's amazing. He is absolutely amazing. And I said this early on. I said it. I was right about Russell Wilson. When in the beginning he seemed like a game manager, because they're rookies. They come in early on good teams. Game manager, just like Prescott, and then they turn it on somewhere in their career, and they're just it. He's a top. He might be the best quarterback in the NFL right now. There are a lot of guys playing well, a lot of good players. I mean, Mahomes is Mahomes, Wilson, Allen, and he's up there. And Rodgers.
The only good thing,
Dak is up there.
The only good thing is the division sucks, and Cowboys are still in it. That's
true.
it. They got to get it fixed.
True.
They got to get that defense fixed.
They got Philly this week, right?
Yeah. No.
All right. They got this week. Dallas has the Giants.
Oh, the Giants. Okay.
In Dallas. In Dallas, too.
I don't care where it
Jerry
is.
World. They're going to Jerry World.
Don't be surprised if that game is real close. Don't be surprised if that game is real close.
It's going to be like a 35-28, 35-21.
Giants aren't giving up those kinds of points, though.
You know what's funny about that game? My gut's telling me the Giants at halftime are everyone's going to be saying the Giants are unbelievable at halftime, and then I think Dallas is going to come back and win in the fourth. I think that's what's going to happen. It's going to be the same thing in Atlanta, where the Giants, I think, are just going to collapse. Like, I think at halftime the headline reads, Daniel Jones is legit.
First of all, what headlines come out at halftime?
The Bulldog edition. The Bulldog edition.
That's what I'm wondering. What halftime headlines are there? Second of all, the Giants have actually been doing the opposite. They've been like stinking it up in the first half and then coming back in the second half.
They're going to do the opposite this week.
But so have the Cowboys. I don't know.
Defense is young and good at the Giants.
All right, let's do our picks. JP, you've been out of it the past couple weeks, but to give you a chance to start catching up.
How did I do week one?
I think you did really good.
No, because I got three games here who I really, really like.
Okay. Hold on. How about this? We're going to start over because me and Carl have absolutely sucked so far. We're going to start over right now. Sound good? We're going to keep score for the rest of the year.
That's fine. Not going to make a difference, but that's fine.
How's it not going to make a difference? We're both
still going to suck.
Oh, yeah, but it's just who's going to win. All right. JP, you want to go first?
Yeah, I got one that I'm going to take right off the board because I like this one a lot.
Okay.
I'm going to go bold here.
Here we go.
I'm taking Bears over Tampa.
No, absolutely.
And right now, the Bears are the underdog. According to
4.5.
What do you have them at?
4.5.
Yeah, it's gone down. It's now 3.5.
Well, you got them at 4.5.
And I'll take that because you know what? I think right now the Bears are going to be – I think it's as crazy as it sounds. I think Nick Foles is about to shock people with the Bears because that team reminds me a little bit of like – this reminds me a little bit of like Minnesota when they had Case Keenum, that it just works. The idea that this team might just work.
Yeah, it worked last week.
Because it worked last week.
But I think for some reason this team's just going to work because Foles I think is going to be efficient enough. Because remember, they just threw him out there on the whim, and this is the first week he really had.
No, last week was the first. This past week, he had the whole week.
Yeah, Yeah, this is the first week after having one full game to really make adjustments to the offense for Foles, and I think they're going to make it work. I think Nagy knows
All
his
right.
job's on the line, and I think he's going to work to Foles. I think he's going to customize his offense to what Foles' strengths are. I think they're going to give Tampa a tough one. I think they win at home.
All right. I will go next, and I'm going to go complete opposite of that, and I'm going to take Tampa -4.5 against the Bears.
I hope you do that all day. I'll start picking. I'll start picking differently.
Nick Foles is, he's the guy who is great to come in and when you haven't prepared for him or you just don't believe in him, he is not a good quarterback. He's just not. He's just not a good quarterback. He's got weapons there, yes. Has he had some success in the NFL? He's a Super Bowl MVP, yes. But he's had so much more failures than he's had success. And he is one play away from Mitch Trubisky being back in there because Nick Foles gets hurt all the time. Tom Brady has hit his stride. He's playing well. He's comfortable now in the system. And they got a pretty good defense over there at Tampa, too. They're playing really good defense. They got lit up a little bit last week by the Chargers, but that's the Chargers have just been doing that. I don't think Chicago scores on this team. It could be like last week, like the Colts, where it's like a 20-10 game. That's what I think it's going to be. And I think Tampa Bay is going to win it. That might be the easiest pick of the week for me. Carl, go ahead.
Well, with that said, I'm going to have to agree from beginning of the season before we even had all these games played where Mike said that the Colts are going to look good. JP, you said you think it's not. In week one, we thought JP was right. But actually, after week one.
Because they played the Chargers, and we didn't know the Chargers were good.
The Colts, after that, Colts are the best defense in the league right now. They are shutting down less first downs in the league, less touchdowns in the league. So I'm not going to say nothing.
Rivers looks good. Rivers looks real good.
Under 1 week, under the new coach that he played with play calling, I'm not going to say nothing to Foles, knowing Foles had a bad game. I think it's going to be a good game tomorrow night. And don't put it past. It's a high-scoring game, too, both sides. It's going to be close.
Who are you picking?
Oh, I'm not picking anybody on that one. I'm going to let it go. But my game I'm going to pick an underdog. And I think because of COVID, it may work. I'm going to pick the Broncos, getting 11 against New England. With a healthy quarterback coming back, with Lindsey coming back, with our cornerback coming back, and New England hurting without Cam Newton, I think there's a chance that the Broncos should beat them. So we'll take the points.
I was going to touch that game. I don't want to touch that game. Ooh.
I can't even find it.
Yeah, because
what time are they playing? Are they playing late?
4:25.
Right. It's actually there's no spread.
No spread?
I got -8. I got New England -8. What I got?
They don't know who's going to play.
ESPN's got it -8 New England
I got
right now.
-8 at ESPN.
All right, we'll give you +8.
It should be more, but yeah.
We'll give you +8. All right, go ahead, JP. And the spreads that I use are from the Score mobile app. So
don't go to Yahoo.
If you want to keep on
Yahoo.
I got Cleveland.
Okay. Cleveland.
Just leave it to that. I got Cleveland.
+2. You got to explain.
Here's why. Very simple.
Okay.
I think the
You
Browns
still
are
don't believe in
legit.
Phillip Rivers? Yeah.
I think the Browns are legit. I think Rivers is looking good, but I think the Browns are just legit. I think they showed the league in Dallas this is the Browns coming out party. I think I love the offense they're going to run with them, like using a little bit of schoolyard plays with the Odell play. I love that. Like that right there, creativity. I think they're going to utilize guys like Odell, get the most out of him. I think it's going to work. I think Indianapolis is going to get taught a lesson this week.
I got something to say before you move on. You got something to say before you take your pick, Mike?
No, you can go.
Something to say.
Well, you're not going to pick, right?
I'm not going to say nothing. We just talked about the defenses. Now we went from Dallas at the worst defense we ever seen in our entire life against the number 1 defense in the league. Good luck with that.
I like Cleveland. My gut's just telling me. I like Cleveland.
Yeah, well, listen, I don't like that game because both teams are playing really well. Game could go either way. I will say about those trick plays that you're talking about, they've been doing those trick plays for the last 3 years, and they never work. I hate them. but they did work the other day against the worst defense in the NFL. So yeah, they did work, but I'm not going to touch that game. This team, we've been talking about them the entire time. They're getting 7.5 points.
Damn it!
Playing the Saints, who have a terrible defense. This kid's gonna throw all over the field. You see, I picked him up and I'm starting him, right, Carl, in fantasy.
Yeah.
This kid is for real. The offense is for real. The defense is not terrible. I got the Chargers plus 7.5 going against New Orleans.
Good pick. Good pick. I like that.
I can't object to that. I'm not objecting. I think that's a good pick.
Yeah, that's good.
Go ahead, Carl.
I'm gonna go out and steal one probably from Mike. I thought he was gonna say this one, but I'm gonna take this up now. Is that we talked about both teams earlier today. I just think I still have my hope on Arizona being that good, and to only giving the Jets.
Oh man, you took mine.
Handful of points. I can't see Arizona not covering it. And
you
if
took
Arizona
mine.
don't cover it, then I'm done with Arizona. I can't stick by them. I won't even talk about them no more. Arizona should
7 points.
The Jets should kill them. 42-10.
I agree. They're going to cover this in the first quarter. I agree. Terrible team. I agree. Go ahead, JP.
You ever heard of the expression, it's not you, it's me?
Probably not as much as you, but yeah.
I think that's happening in Houston. It's not you, Bill O'Brien, it's me. Houston's about to get beat by Jacksonville. I'm taking Jacksonville.
Okay. Jacksonville plus 6.5.
I think that's a give me. I think Houston's in chaos. I think Bill O'Brien, I think they're going to be in more chaos without Bill O'Brien. I think this is a train wreck where I'm going to be bold enough to say this. I think Houston's going to get embarrassed by Gardner Minshew.
Okay. Yeah, I don't like that game because, Romeo Crennel is a likable guy. He's taken over. He's not a great head coach, no, but I can see that team playing up to its potential just for the 1 or 2 weeks. It happens. They don't have any major injuries, right? They're still the team that we thought was going to be good. Still the team that was great last year. So I don't like that game, but I see what you're saying. All right, I'm going to go here. I don't like giving up points, huge amounts of points in the NFL. So I usually take the underdogs, and I'm going to do this right now. This is a division game. It's, division games are usually pretty close. That's where you have the upsets. You have the Ravens giving 13 points to the Bengals. I don't see it. I think Burrow can keep them in the game. The Ravens are good, real good. I'm not going to take anything away from them just because of that Kansas City game. Kansas City's on another level, but 13 points is just too much, especially in a division. I'm taking Cincinnati plus 13.
Good pick. That's a great pick.
I thought you were going with Atlanta.
No, Atlanta's awful. Atlanta.
I thought you were going with Carolina, who's right now an underdog to Atlanta.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. They were on my list, but I like this one better.
Here's my last pick. I think this team started off really bad, but I think they're warming up a little bit, and I think they got a good offense. Quarterback's not 100%. I don't really agree with him, but he's good. But I like Minnesota Vikings. They're with that wide receiver core and running back Cook is starting to go. Seattle. They're playing Seattle.
I will say this: Seattle
defense
is battling with Dallas as the worst defense.
Right.
They're terrible.
And I tell you what, the new wide receiver over there, that rookie, he's unbelievable.
Jefferson.
They're comparing him to young Keenan Allen, the way he does the routes and everything like that. And now you got, the offense back together. Looks like Diggs has not missed at all. But I got to say, Minnesota looks good the last 2 weeks.
Minnesota plus 7.
Yeah.
All right. It's in the book. Wrote it down. We will start our count again next week from now on. So it's 8 o'clock and it's time for our new segment. I promised a new segment and I will deliver. JP, honestly, JP has said some of the wildest things I've ever heard. And
Yeah.
amazingly,
Some of them come true.
a lot of them come true. It's ridiculous. Like, he'll say things, honestly, sometimes I think he's just saying it to be crazy, but a lot of them come true. So we decided, and by we, I mean me, JP is going to get his own segment where he could come up with any hypothetical thing he wants at the end of each show for 15 minutes, and it's called JP's World.
So
JP,
You're up.
I'll sit back for this, and I'll.
no, actually, I want both of your opinions on this. Like, here's the thing. Tonight I'm doing something I'm gonna try to do every 4 weeks, which everyone likes to panic right now. And everyone's talking about after Trey Lance's oddball performance, where a lot of scouts are saying he's kind of maybe shouldn't have played the other night against Central Arkansas. There's scouts that are saying he didn't do any wonders to himself playing that one game. Here we go.
Now, their season, so this is North Dakota State. Their season is now or it's in the spring?
They played a one-game
They
showcase.
played one game.
One game, right? And then that's it. And they're not going to play for the spring, till the spring. So he's from North Dakota State. He's the number 3 ranked quarterback coming up in the draft so far. And he's decided to not play. You got to tell everyone what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
He's decided not to play and just enter the draft. Go ahead.
All right, we're going to do this week, looking at the draft board. Well, right now we're kind of going to – first I'm going to talk about Trey Lance. Would you or would you not, after 4 weeks? I'm going to give you 3 teams here, and I'm going to give you 2 surprise teams that are going to be oddballs and may need a quarterback. First one, I think this is an obvious one. Right now, according to what I'd have, the Jets would have the 3rd pick. According to all the tiebreakers. According to the one website I have, the tiebreakers have the Jets at the 3rd pick. So, if you're the Jets, would you or would you not take Trey Lance over Sam Darnold right now after 4 weeks?
No.
Carl?
Absolutely. He's a good quarterback. Sam is obvious, hasn't shown what he could do in the first couple of years. Unless you get a big free agent, if you're stuck at the 3rd pick, yes, I would say you have to grab him. I mean, and let Sam go. I wasn't a big fan of Sam to begin with, and Sam has proven it.
I'm not taking a guy. I know North Dakota State produced Wentz, who we still don't know. You know, the jury's out on him. I'm not taking a guy that I don't know is an absolute sure thing. And I think the top 2 quarterbacks are, other than those 2, I'll let a coach come in and coach Darnold and see what he's got for at least 1 year.
All right. This is another one where this is another team that potentially after today, the rumor is that Dwayne Haskins could be on his way to Pittsburgh. That's what a lot of people are saying, that Pittsburgh, they're trying to finish a deal by Sunday to have them in Pittsburgh. So here we go. Washington. Would you take him over Kyle Allen and Smith?
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, that's a different situation. It's not the guy you drafted in the first round. One guy's got one leg. The other guy is a career backup who's a good backup. Yeah, that's a no-brainer.
And
If you look back into Rivera's, like I said in the beginning, Rivera's coaching, Rivera was big on this kid. And I think after he announced that, Rivera right away, they said he's inactive. He's done. This is what we're going. We're going with Allen, and I think Rivera wants him as his quarterback.
Yeah, but if he really wanted him, he'd be playing Haskins the whole year.
I don't think
if he really wants to get a top pick, he would be playing Haskins the whole year.
But I'm going to give you guys my opinion in a second here. But
you're
I know
right. But JP said that Pittsburgh wanting Haskins, it's going to be a wrap.
Yeah, because the reason why is because we're going to do 3 of these. That's the reason why, because I got 3, and 2 of them I think are going to take a little bit longer.
Okay.
because two of them I think are going to be interesting ones. Well, the third team is Jacksonville. Right now, Jackson will be, according to this, sitting at the 11th spot. And here's the question: Gardner Minshew or Trey Lance?
Yeah, I don't think Minshew is the answer. I don't think Minshew's an answer. I think he's a decent quarterback. He's a good backup, but I don't think he's the answer. He showed he's not the answer. He might be, like Fitzpatrick light, where you could definitely, if your guy, you need to ease the quarterback in, you put him in for the first 5 games. If your quarterback gets hurt, you could play him. But yeah, I would definitely go for a franchise quarterback over Minshew.
I agree with Mike. Mitchell's not the answer. We all know the answer on coaching is going to be Gruden. Gruden's going to take over that coaching spot, and Gruden likes that kind of big pocket quarterback. So you know what? I would say Lance could go to Jacksonville too.
And here, I'm going to give you guys my opinion now on this. When I said with the Jets, I would say no, unless you got a really good price for Darnold. Unless you told me that you're giving me the farm to get a hold of Darnold, let's say a first-round pick. That's the only way.
And that's not going to happen if they ended up in the third round. The number 3 pick, you're not getting.
That's about it.
Yeah, you're not getting anything.
Washington, yes. For one reason, I think that right now Alex Smith is going to be the quarterback next year. I think if he's shows any sign of life, he might even get time halfway through this year, because I don't think Washington's end goal is to win. I think their end goal is to see what they can get for Allen and Smith. I think Ron Rivera is just trying to do fire sale.
You think they're going to trade Allen?
I think he might. I think that's why I think he's trying to get to see what he can get value-wise for him. I think he's trying to see if he's somebody, let's say, for example, has a good 3 weeks.
No.
He might try to deal him at the end of the year.
Allen's his boy. He'll keep
Allen's his boy. He brought him from Carolina because he could trust him. They're not going to trade Allen.
Allen's there. Wherever Rivera goes, Allen goes. That's it. That's official. That's one of those.
Trade him.
Yeah. That's the reason why I was in Washington.
Alex Smith is going to be one of those miracle guys. Come out and play a couple games or a couple plays and love the way he, just say, look, I finally did what I couldn't do, and I'm happy I did it. I need to retire.
Yeah.
Alex Smith is done. He can't.
And
next year there'll be a different quarterback in Washington, whoever it is.
And Jacksonville, the reason why I mention them is right now, I think with Minshew, I think this is an interesting debate in Jacksonville. Minshew's playing, I think, above his weight. But the question is, does he play back down to earth? And he
already did.
And here's the question: can he? Because I don't really know. To me, he's playing above his weight no matter what. I think right now, he's playing way above his weight. I think he's doing better than I expected with a team that, honestly, I'm shocked they've won 1 game and they've been competitive in pretty much all of them.
He got a good offensive coach. Is what he got.
Yeah, that's the reason why I'm shocked that with Minshew. But other than that, I would probably agree with it. They should be moving off him. Number 2. And this one I think is an interesting one because this was being discussed actually with a friend of mine. And he gave me this idea. And it's not a far-fetched idea right now because this certain team would hold the number 2 pick. And it is Atlanta. Matt Ryan. Would you deal Matt Ryan if you could get for Justin Fields?
No way.
In this
no way. Oh, all right. Now top 2.
They're number 2. Right now, Atlanta will be the second pick.
You just changed it. For Justin Fields, I don't think so. You know what you have in Ryan. Their problem is not offense. Their problem is not offense right now. How old is Ryan? 31?
Ryan's in his mid-30s. Like, here's the thing with Atlanta, and this is what I brought up to a friend of mine, is right now Atlanta's a team, and I even said this to you, they could go worse to first with the right coach next year. With Ryan, they have enough pieces where if you get the right coach in there, they could definitely go worse to first. But here's at the same time. The same problem is you look at Atlanta, I think their team is I think they need a rebuild. I think they need to get they need to get younger. First of all, I think you need to get cheaper at the wide receiver position.
Matt Ryan's 35 years old. So, yeah, well, listen, you could draft a quarterback and keep Ryan there for a year or 2. You don't have to trade him.
Because this is the thought of, if it gets you, let's say, for example, you can get picks to help boost that rebuild in Atlanta, which may need to happen with a new coach.
Right.
But
go ahead, Carl.
This is both of you. I agree with and I disagree with. With Matt Ryan, yes, he's getting old. Look at Rodgers. He was getting old. Yes, he's a superstar, but they drafted a quarterback. If you're going to get number 1 and number 2 pick, which I think Atlanta will, I don't think Atlanta's going to win many games. You have to
No.
go with one of the quarterbacks. You have to go with one of the quarterbacks out of the draft. But the problem is, and I've been hearing is, and it's a thing is that Bill Belichick been calling, and he called Atlanta, and Atlanta hasn't moved yet, but he called Atlanta for Julio Jones and Matt Ryan, and there's a word going out that they may give up a lot of players from Atlanta because they may just toss it in because it's all new coaching staff next year. This coach is done.
Right. I don't know how he's not done
And
already.
that's why I'm saying this, because Atlanta's a team where if you make one or two good free agent signings, they could win that division next year. I think New Orleans has taken a drop off, and I think they could definitely compete with Tampa and Carolina.
I
But-
don't think that Atlanta is going to – I don't think Atlanta's going to be the number 2 pick. I think you guys are out of your mind.
Yeah,
I
but
think the Giants –
I'm
you
just
have
talking today.
Hold on. But you realize you have the Falcons being worse than the Jets?
As of today, this is as of today with tiebreakers. They have the number
As
2.
of today. No, they don't. The Jets do.
Yeah,
The
according
Jets
to
have the number 1 pick.
the one
Jets have the
website I'm
number 1
going
pick.
on has them.
Well, forget about that. Forget about that. Yeah, okay. Whatever. The Jets are going to be up there. The Giants are going to be
Yeah.
up there. Jacksonville's going to be up there. I don't think that Atlanta's going to be up there to get a quarterback. So they're going to keep Ryan.
Okay.
Here's the new thing. One more quick question about all that with quarterback stuff. Arizona, everybody has to remember Arizona screwed up. And people can't do and think about the future without getting their coach. Arizona did their quarterback and then fired their coach, and the coach came in and said, no, I don't want him. And they had to do whatever they had to do to give him the quarterback they want. That's the new era now. That's the new thing. So no matter what happens with coaching or quarterback or Atlanta or Jets, they will not get rid of anyone, I don't think, until the end of the season, until they hire their coach and says, you pick your quarterback.
And actually,
Maybe.
that leads into my third team here.
Good.
New York Giants.
No.
Daniel
They-
Jones. Yeah.
No. Daniel Jones showed a lot of promise the first year. This year is just a dumpster fire. I blame the offensive coordinator. So I don't think whoever they pick is going to be better. I think that
Trevor
you
Lawrence.
can't give.
They would help number 1.
I don't think so. I don't think they do it. I don't think they do it. I think they go for a best defensive player out there. I don't think they go for Trevor Lawrence. It's hard though. It's hard because
Here we
to
go.
me, Trevor Lawrence is the best quarterback I've ever seen come out of college.
I don't
You
know
know.
about that, but yeah. But with the thing with the Giants, we all knew about the Giants and what they were going to be. They had one quarterback in Barkley, and Barkley got hurt. They hired the wrong offensive coach. This coach came from New England, and he's learned from New England. He's going to get it together. Belichick will trade his house with his draft picks to move back to get more draft picks to help the team. If they get number 1, they will have a shitload of picks in the future because they would trade everything.
Joe Judge isn't making any trades. He doesn't have that power. And second of all, as far as coming from Belichick, besides this guy in Miami, almost every coach that has come from Belichick has sucked. So I don't think learning from Belichick is anything special. Belichick doesn't teach people. He makes them listen to him. That's how it is. But I think that Joe Judge does not have any power there. It would be really, really hard for anybody to pass up Trevor Lawrence. Really hard. But I think the Giants I think the Giants will trade and get a boatload, like maybe 3 number 1 picks.
I'm going to agree on that. I'm going to agree on that because this is why I brought this up, because this is why I chose this order, because this is the most intrigue. And I agree. Odds are Atlanta will not be the second pick. I'm going to 100% agree with you on that. But I think if this ended up holding somehow, let's say Atlanta somehow just goes into a full-on collapse where Ryan gets hurt and they just start losing, I think that's an interesting conversation all 3 of those teams have to have. And I think it's a huge conversation you have to have about would you take this quarterback over that? Because right now everyone's panicking. And the reason why I thought of this was with Houston, and this is why I thought of this, is because I thought Houston moved too quick on O'Brien. I think you give him at least 3 or 4 more weeks because you had a tough start of the season. If it really was, and I heard there was something came out today about a player's immunity over a fight he had with J.J. Watt that early in the week. That's why.
I just told you that yesterday.
Yeah,
I told you that yesterday. Yeah, the team hates him. The team absolutely hates him, and
Wait
he
till you hear-
made
Yeah.
some of the worst GM moves I've ever seen. Right?
Agreed.
The Jets have had pretty bad GMs. You know, he made moves like you two would make, like where you just like trade everybody, trade this, trade that. He traded Hopkins for Johnson, which is a ridiculous trade. He traded 2 number 1 picks for Tunsil.
That makes
So
Herschel
offensive
Walker look
lineman.
good. That makes the Herschel Walker trade look really good right now.
No, that's the worst trade they ever made. But
Well,
and Ricky Williams too.
with Hopkins, that came down to an argument, and they said he was racist and all that stuff like that, and they didn't want to give him a big contract, and he was a GM. I agree for what he got for Hopkins. I agree it was a good deal because the Hopkins wanted that load of money. You can't.
Good deal for who?
Good deal for Houston because all that money Arizona had to pay Johnson. That money is not listed on Johnson's contract for Houston to pay. That's all Arizona.
I don't care what it is. Johnson is just a regular running back, and you got rid of one of the best wide receivers in the league, and now you're 0-4.
He didn't want to be with him, and they weren't going to give him his big contract. They can't do. Why would you sit there and lose him when you can just trade him? Get rid of him.
Here's what I brought up.
Where would he be right now? Hold on. Where would he be right now, Hopkins? Hopkins would be happy as hell. Happy as hell now that O'Brien's gone.
Well, that was the owner's decision. Owner made a decision that they could have fired him. They should have fired him last year.
Don't say it's a good trade, though. It wasn't a good trade.
Money
you got nothing in return.
Because there's a reason why I brought up Houston, and it's because everyone's bringing up that right now there's betting odds on who's going to be the next head coach. Dabo Swinney, everyone already talking Dabo Swinney's going to take the job. I think that's bull. I'm going to throw a name out there. I'm going to throw 3 names. I want to hear your opinion on these 3. First name, Harbaugh.
No.
I'd take Harbaugh anywhere. I would take Harbaugh anywhere. Yeah.
I mean, I think Harbaugh would be a good fit. The only reason why I mentioned Harbaugh is because I think he's going to leave Michigan. He's, from what I've heard, he wants to go. He would want to go to somewhere where that he wouldn't have to do a big rebuild, and he would probably be able to go to Houston and maybe without all the draft picks they had, maybe move J.J. Watt, which is already being discussed. Maybe J.J. Watt is not there next year, as they have to deal him to get some of those picks back. They lost.
Harbaugh is going to get a job, I think, in the NFL this off season. I'm not going to say it's going to be Houston. I would see him in the Lions, Detroit, or I would see him as a New York Jet. But I don't think
that's what I think he's going to be.
I think Harbaugh's another one. A lot of these coaches want to pick and choose their quarterback and how they're going to run the system and what play.
It doesn't happen though. You listen.
No, it don't.
When you listen, everyone. You always say that. JP always says that. Where a guy wants to go, what he wants to do. It never works like that.
No,
it doesn't work like that.
The coach.
We heard Rivera. Rivera was going to go all these places, and he ended up going a place no one would have thought he would have went. Washington. Like it doesn't work like that.
But here's why I'm going to bring up, and there's an
Dabo Swinney I could see go to Atlanta. I could see Dabo Swinney in Atlanta.
Wherever goes.
And this is an oddball I'm about to give you. One that
and this will be it because we're running out.
Yeah, I'm going to give you 2 oddballs quick. One, Urban Meyer, and this is the big one that I think a lot of people are really, I think, keeping under the radar. And I'm really cringing when I say this, but I think this could actually happen. I really like the chance that you could see McDaniels in Houston. I think as crazy as that sounds, that Houston would go to the
I think you were going to say like Nick Saban. That's not crazy.
No, I wasn't going Nick Saban.
Why is that crazy?
I would call this crazy because I don't think they would go to the New England tree again to get another Patriot guy. O'Brien was a New England guy.
That's a good point. That's
why I'm calling this an oddball, because
he didn't come from New England though.
O'Brien was your coordinator in New England.
Yeah, he was.
No, he came from Penn State.
No, but he also was your coordinator in New England. And
that's fine. That's fine, but they didn't pick him out of New England. They picked him out of Penn State.
Right.
So it's not the same thing.
But he was a coordinator in New England for 1 year before he took the Penn State job.
Right. None of that makes sense. None of that makes a difference. He was there for 1 year. He probably coached for 10 different teams, but they didn't pick him out of there. McDaniels, is been there forever. It's not like he was there for 1 year. He was the coordinator. They picked him out of Penn State. I think that's a great idea. I think that's honestly, That's a great idea. McDaniel
It's
going
not
there.
about taking from New England tree. New England tree, some reason, whatever happens when they're head coaches, whatever, we already saw Daniels and his mistakes. But it wouldn't surprise me if they offered Daniels a bigger job in Houston. I mean, they can't have a coach and a GM. You can't do that. We all know that.
They're not going to do that. Yeah.
Right. That don't work. That's why O'Brien's fault. You need a big GM and then you need a head coach. And that's what Houston's going to have to do. So they got
what they should do is, the Jets always do this backwards. They should hire the GM and let him hire the coach.
Oh yeah, agreed. I think what Houston. I'm going to throw a name out there for Houston, and I really like this guy. I'd like to get somebody give Louis Riddick a shot. I think I'd like to see somebody give him a shot now. That give him the Mel Kiper situation, not the Mel Kiper, the Mayock situation. Give him a shot now that he's been on TV a few years. See, and you know what?
Yeah, it's a complete difference because Louis Riddick was a GM already and failed. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think usually that doesn't work. What's that?
There's two offensive coaches that are going to get a job, and one sitting in Kansas City and one sitting in Baltimore.
That's why I didn't bring up Bieniemy because I think that's a given. I brought up McDaniels and Urban Meyer for one reason. I'm surprised you didn't touch on Urban Meyer. Is because Urban Meyer.
All right, I was worried about this. This segment's running way too long. This was a worry of mine when I said we could do this segment.
I was trying to rush this. I was trying to pace this. You saw, right? I was trying to pace it.
Yeah. But great job, JP. Awesome job. This is here to stay. Next week, I just told you about this today, so I don't blame you. Tighten it up.
Next week, we actually have an idea.
Yeah. One subject, 15 minutes, done. I have to go. I have to watch a debate tonight.
Oh,
big debate.
They have a seat for Tupac, just so you know.
That's great. Did you hear that, Carl?
Unreal.
They kept the seat for Tupac there. I'm waiting.
All right, the live is off. We're live. Thank you all.
Have a good night.
So long, everybody.